Have you ever wanted it, truly wanted it, and felt your own body refuse to respond? Not once, not as a fluke, but consistently, in a way that started making you question everything. If that sounds familiar, do not close this video, because what I am about to explain changes everything you thought you knew about why this is happening. Most men assume, when this starts happening, that the desire is gone, that they are no longer attracted, that something emotional has shifted in the relationship. They start questioning everything, the marriage, themselves, their identity as a man, and they carry all of that weight completely alone because this is not the kind of thing you bring up at dinner. But here's the truth. The desire is still there. You just proved that with the question I just asked. The problem is not in your mind. The problem is in the pathway between your mind and your body. And that pathway runs directly through your circulatory system. Before I go deeper into this, I want to ask you something. Drop your answer in the comments while you keep watching. Have you been avoiding intimacy because you are afraid of what might happen again? Be honest. You would be shocked how many men watching this right now are nodding at that exact question. Now, many men who are starting to understand what is actually causing this are already doing something about it. I left a link in the description that explains the approach many men over 60 are using to support their circulation naturally. Check it out when you finish watching. Stay with me, because in about 2 minutes I am going to share something that most men over 60 never find out. And if you have been blaming yourself for what has been happening, what I am about to say is going to surprise you completely. After 60, the body's ability to respond to desire depends almost entirely on one thing: blood flow, specifically the speed and strength with which blood moves into the tissues that create and sustain that response. When that flow is strong, the body cooperates instantly. When that flow is weak or slow, the body hesitates, stalls, fails to deliver. It is not psychological, it is hydraulic. Think about it this way. Your desire sends a signal. That signal tells your body to respond. Your body tries. But if the circulatory highways that carry that response are narrowed, congested, or underperforming, the message gets through, but the delivery never arrives with full strength. That is exactly what is happening when you want it, but your body will not cooperate. Here is what the research in men's health consistently shows. Nitric oxide, the compound your body uses to widen blood vessels and increase flow, drops significantly after 60. In fact, studies show that nitric oxide levels in men can drop by nearly 75% between the ages of 40 and 70. That means by the time most men reach 65, their body has lost 3/4 of its ability to maintain the strong, responsive blood flow that makes that physical response possible. This is not a reflection of your attraction to your wife. This is not a sign that your marriage is in trouble. This is a biological process that affects the majority of men over 60, and that almost none of them understand clearly enough to do anything about. Now here is what I promised you, the thing that most men never find out. Most men who experience this spend years thinking the problem is them, that they are broken, that they are too old, that this part of their life is simply over. And that belief, that quiet, crushing belief, does more damage than the physical change itself. Because when a man believes he is broken, he stops trying. He pulls away. He creates distance where there used to be closeness. And his wife feels that distance, even if she never says a word about it. There are men over 60 who have not initiated intimacy in months. Not because they stopped wanting to, but because they are terrified of failing again, of the silence after, of the look they imagine on their wife's face. And that fear becomes its own prison. But here is what changes when a man finally understands what is actually happening inside his body. He stops blaming himself. The shame starts to lift. And for the first time in a long time, there is a sense that something real can actually be done. Men who focus on supporting nitric oxide levels, on giving their circulatory system the specific compounds it needs to maintain strong, responsive blood flow, report that over time the gap between desire and response begins to close, not overnight, but consistently, week by week, in a way that feels like the body is reconnecting with something it had almost forgotten. And here is what changes when that happens. The fear goes away first. That quiet dread before intimacy starts to lift, because the body starts cooperating again. And when the body cooperates, confidence returns, presence returns, the ability to be fully in the moment with your wife returns. There are men over 60 who describe this as getting a part of themselves. Back they thought was gone permanently, not just physically, the feeling of being a complete man again. There are men over 60 who reach for their wife's hand again for the first time in months, who look at her the way they used to, who show up fully present in a moment they had been avoiding for a long time. And their wife pulls closer without either of them saying a single word, because she already feels the difference, because the man she married just walked back into the room. That is what is really at stake here. Not just a physical function, the feeling of being fully yourself again in the relationship that matters most to you. Your body is not broken, it is not betraying you, it is running low on something specific that can be supported. And the men who understand that, the ones who stop waiting and start acting, are the ones who get that feeling back. You still want it. That means everything is still there. Your body just needs the right support to catch up with what your mind already knows. Before you go, I want to come back to that question from the beginning. Have you been avoiding intimacy because you are afraid of what might happen? Leave your honest answer in the comments. This is a safe space, and the number of men who feel exactly what you are feeling right now would surprise you. The link is in the description. Read it when you have a quiet moment. It explains exactly how men over 60 are supporting their circulation and nitric oxide levels naturally, and why it is making a real difference. You are not too old. You are not broken. You just need the right support.